Hello, welcome to Dungeon Rolls Podcast. I'm Rose Justin. Today we're reviewing The Spirit, the 80th anniversary celebration. This came out in, I think, 2016. Let me double check. Should say somewhere around here. It came out 2020. And this book contains comic strips from 1940 to 1952, if I'm not mistaken. I just took a quick, look. This book costs $12.99 US, and this book contains 9 or 10 stories of the Spirit. I counted 10, but I could be wrong. Which has introductions by other people. I mean, each book comes with it features 9 stories. My bad. This book contains introductions by people in the industry that knew Will Eisner, Dennis Kitchen, Diana Schultz, Dean Maloney, Bruce Canwell, Charles Brownstein, Paul Levitz, Bo Smith, Craig Yo, and Greg Goldstein. Right. This is published by Clover Press. Yeah, so like I said, this book contains 9 comic strips of the Spirit, which only because this comic book series, it wasn't really a comic book. It was like a comic strip that was put in like newspapers, but because it was put in newspapers, more people got to see it than if it was sold in comic books, right? And like Will Eisner obviously is a huge innovator in comics. He was named after. So they named the Eisner Award after Will Eisner, which is a comic book, industry award, like ceremony every year, right? And gotta love this cover. Which this book is basically like a noir mystery comic, but with some comedy and humor here. But because this book, it's modern year, and this came out in 1940s. There's a character named Sammy who is the Spirit's sidekick, who was race swapped in this book because he was originally black, but they said something about like the way he was drawn was kind of offensive. So here's some interior art, which the cover is nice, soft cover, and you have these really thick pages, right? And some of the stories are black and white, some of them are in color, right? So this one happens to be in color. I'm trying to find the one that has Sammy in it. So let me go check. Yeah, because he's only in like 2 of the stories. Oh, there he is, right there. But they made him white. He was in one of the black and white stories, and yeah. So yeah, there's like 9 stories in here. There's one story. Most of them are like crime mystery stories, but there's some cool ones in here. There's one where he's in the Wild West. Right, there's the Spirit right there, Wild West. And there's this one where there's a giant monster, but like you only hear about it because like the story is basically there's this guy who's like the descendant of the witch doctor who stopped this giant monster from destroying the island, put a curse on it, turning it into stone, like a volcano, right? And that's the volcano. And every 100 years, the curse has to be reenacted. So the guy who's the descendant of the witch doctor does the curse again to keep the volcano from erupting and releasing the monster. But then he dies, and the stone tablet that has the curse on it gets destroyed. And this story is like about like a horror author cartoonist who, this story is called Sound, who, this one doesn't have the spirit in it, but it's about like this dickhead cartoonist who's like kind of an asshole who gets killed by his assistant, right? So I'm working backwards, but like, yeah, that's the Western one. This one is basically, this one is the spirit stopping these criminals from trying to burn down the police station, right? And in the story, like almost every page gets constantly interrupted by this Goople's hair cream, which is basically Rogaine, a Rogaine kind of book, right? Oh, my dog's barking. Yeah, so like that was commentary on how like radio shows got ruined by constant commercials. So like it kind of makes it timeless, because like commercials and ads ruin the flow of a lot of stories. So that story was called the Torch. This one is about femme metal or whatever, Fentale. Oh, I can't remember how you pronounce it, but it's about this woman who killed her husband. Right, her husband was like a crazy like scientist who developed this like suicide pill that can melt a body and make it disappear. But she kills him, but like the body disappears. So she's trying to get herself convicted for his murder, but like nobody believes her except for the spirit. So the spirit tries to prove it, but like, yeah, it ends up, yeah, the evidence gets destroyed, right? And she ends up getting like a suicide pill from her husband before he died in the mail, and like she kills herself. This one, I'm not a huge fan of this story because it has a cat gets killed in this panel, which I'm currently a cat and dog owner. Don't ask me how that happened. Shit. Yeah. So this book is called Little Adam, which apparently this was about this. There was this cartoonist called Al Cap, who was a rival of Will Eisner, who apparently called up, who would do. Apparently, this guy was an ultra conservative. Oh, that. Which is mentioned here. Wow, how bad is that? He's a conservative. Oh, oy vey. And like, you know, he was supposed to collab with Will Eisner, where they tried to make a fake rivalry, and this Al Sap guy would make parodies of a lot of cartoonist work. So that book is about how somebody tries to kill this Al Slap guy, right? And the spirit has to figure out who tried to do it, and you have like cameos from other cartoonists, like the guy who created Little Orphan Annie, and stuff like that, and the Nick Tracy guy. So I don't know. I thought this story was cool, but like, yeah, they slammed this in the introduction to the story. They slammed this Al Cap guy apparently because like he was supposed to make a story. Like he called, apparently, according to Will Eisner, Al Cap called up Will Eisner to make a fake rivalry so they can sell more copies of each other's books. So Will Eisner made a book making fun of the Al Cap's character Lil Abner, called Lil Adam in this book, and he was supposed to do a spoof on the spirit, and it never happened, right? Oh, and this story is called Wanted, about this guy who was basically a loser who was trying to recreate the recipe for like the atomic bomb, because he was working at as a janitor in like laboratory where they were creating the atom bomb. And this has a cameo by the octopus, which you'll know from the Spirit film by Frank Miller, who was played by the Samuel Jackson. And the octopus never shows his face in this story, so apparently that was common. He's only in one of these stories, unfortunately. And the first, there's the black and white Sammy. So this story is about no spirit story today, which is a meta. There's a lot of there's a couple stories where there's where they break the fourth wall. Here's a story where like the spirit gets called to investigate the disappearance of Will Eisner, who was supposed to come out with a new story, but is late and went missing. So this book is basically kind of like about the deadline doom that cartoonists and comic artists have to deal with, and writers, which Steve Gerber ripped this idea off for his Howard the Duck story comic, which you can check out my Howard the Duck omnibus review. So yeah, so like I was super surprised to see somebody else had done that, and that's the second story, right? And this one is just like the spirit trying to stop these two goons from poisoning the water supply, right? So I don't know. I thought the book was cool, and it was nice to see some like 1940s, 1950s comics and culture, right? It's kind of cool to get glimpses of the past like that. And unlike a lot of noir stories, this isn't super dark and heavy. Though there was like some stories where it was kind of dark, with the story about the girl, the wife who killed her husband and wanted to die, right? So that was a story about like survivor's guilt, because apparently the spirit's offer, Will Eisner, went to World War II, and there was a lot of depression going around, right? But overall, yeah, I thought this book was cool. And if you're a fan of noir stories, but you're looking for something different, like you don't want like dark and serious like pulp, like noir stories like with the shadow, but you're looking for something fun and more humorous, this is a good book, and I'm giving this 6.5 out of 10. But you know, because the stories are really short, they're only 7 pages each, right? But this is only like $14, so it's kind of it's $13, my bad. So it's I would say it's worth it. So my next review is either going to be Gel LA, That Was Now or This Is Then, or DC Universe Dreamwar, which is a crossover event between DC Universe and Wildstorm. Which, how hard could it be to make a crossover event when you have when both companies are owned by the same people? And I'm either going to do one of those. So you guys have tonight to vote for which review you would like me to see. If not, I'll flip for it. And then after that, we'll review the Mighty Thor Thunderstrike, and then Harbinger Wars. And this week, I'm going to be picking up Heroes Union #1, which is a new indie comic by Roger Stern. And I think John Byrne also did the art. No, it wasn't John Byrne. It was Ron Frenz. So I'm looking forward to reading and reviewing that comic. So make sure to check that out. All right.